Hi, in this tutorial I'll talk about the different use cases of query builder query. In last tutorial I explained the basics of query builder query, how you can write query. In this tutorial we'll see more use cases and how you can create query for different use cases. So I'll cover how you can search component, template, how you can search a particular component used on the pages, how to search file and date range, different predicates. So we'll see different use case. Intention of this tutorial is to let you understand how you can create query builder query in different use cases rather than to explain the different use cases. So as part of this tutorial, please try to understand how we create query for different use cases. Let's say you want to search all the components of Geeks project. So as I told you, whatever the primary type you want to search, that should come under this type. So what is the primary type of each component? So whenever you create any component, the primary type is CQ components. Any type is the CQ component. So let's search CQ component. So once you search, it will give you all the components because I did not define path. So it says 1284 components in all my repository, but let's filter this through path. So after adding path, if you search, it says 42 components. So there's 42 components available in my project. Okay, but now let's say you want to search the components on a particular group. So as I defined earlier in the previous video, you can search for a property, right? So let's say I want to search the components in a particular group. So I did a property called component group, and in value I gave the component group name. If you come to any component here, you will see the component group is a property which define what is the group of those components, and I define the value here. So if I search now, it will give me only component under the AEM Geeks -content group. Okay, so if I suppose I need the components from two groups. So as I explained you in last tutorial, now you can define for a single property, you can define multiple values. Okay, so for that you must understand whatever you search multiple times, so for that you should prefix with a number. Okay, right now I'm searching only the content group. If I want to search from the multiple, so what I should do, 1/property. Okay, this is the first property value, and now say for one more, if I say I need one more value of this property, say 2, and now you can define another group here. So now it will search component from two groups, content group and form group. By default, when you select multiple values, right, for a property, by default there is an OR property, as I explained earlier as well. So it will search components from the content or form. So if I search it, it get 28 components, 5 added more because I have 5 more components in the form, if you see here. Okay, that way you can search with multiple properties using OR condition with a property. Now suppose I want to search from two different values. I need to check two different properties, and based on those properties I need to search component. One is component group and another one is title. So let me add one more property here. As I explained you earlier, if you are using multiple either value or property, that should be prefixed by a number like 1 2. So right now here I'm using two properties, so the property should be prefix with number as the prefix I used in values. Okay, you will be seeing here I'm using two properties. One is component group and another one is a title. This is the component title. Okay, it will search for the components as I gave type is equal to component. So it will search, and by default the properties, see whatever the properties here, whatever you add here, those are end, means it will check this property and this property. So it will check all the components. If any component which is under content group, okay, AEM Geeks content group, and its title is author, then it will give you a result. Okay, so I have a component. If you come here and you'll check author, so this is the title is author and it is content AEM Geeks content group. So if I search this, it will give you a one result. See, it is giving one result, but by default it's a OR end condition. So if you want to make it OR, as I explained earlier, you have to add group. So I added a group like group dot one dot property and then group dot, and then now I'm adding group dot p dot OR condition, right? By default it's end. I'm saying okay, OR should be true. So what I'll check, either the components can be of the group AEM geeks hyphen content, or the title can be author. So it will search all the components, right? It will search 23. Okay, so that way you can add multiple properties using or condition and using group. Now let's say you want to search all the templates, AEM Geeks template. So primary type should be CQ column template. Even if you go in any template, let's say here, and all the template are of primary type CQ template. The same I mentioned here, and the path is AEM Geeks. So it will search all the templates under AEM Geeks. If you search here, so it will give you 3 templates, because right now I have 3 templates, right? But these are the static templates. So if you're creating a project, new project, you might have editable templates as well. And editable templates are always maintained in conf folder rather than the apps folder. So if you come here, conf AEM Geeks, you will be having your own folder and you will be having these templates. So now the thing is, either you can remove this path, but if you remove this path, it will search templates from all the repository. But we need the templates from 2 folder. One is from apps, another one is from conf. So in that case, how you can do that? So in that case, again, you can define multiple, right? Now you define multiple paths. So again, if you want to define multiple, then again what you have to do, prefix. And now one second path would be your geeks path, conf path. So now I'm searching templates under apps AEM Geeks or conf AEM Geeks. If I hit this, it will give me the 0 result. Why? The reason is, as I told you, if you searching any property at this starting level, those are by default end condition, right? So there is a not template which is present under the first path and second path. So you have to define, rather than the default end, you have to define or. For that, you have to define group like we did earlier. So I define a group, and in group I'm saying or is equal to true. That means either from the apps or from conf. So if I search this now, it is giving me 8 templates. Okay, so you see all the templates in my folder under apps, or the folder and the templates under conf. And by default it's end, so I define or, so it is giving me all the templates, 8 templates. Now let's say if I want to search these templates based on some property. So if you go to the static templates, AEM Geeks, and in AEM Geeks, if you check the templates, there is a property called ranking. So let's say I want to check properties which has the ranking 100. Okay, so let me add one property here. So I added a property. Now it will search the templates which has a ranking value 100. So if I search now, it will give me 3. Okay, because all my static templates has the ranking 100, right? But if you come here, conf, these templates does not have that property at all. Okay, so these templates did not come in our search. Let's say what I'm saying, okay, I need those templates as well which has this status is equal to enabled. Okay, let me add this property as well. So I did one more property called status. I'm using relative path here. Why? Because when I search templates, it will give me this node, and the property is under JCR node. So we have to check this property under JCR content. So that's why I'm defining the relative path to this template, as I explained in last tutorial as well. So if I search this now, it will give me 0 result. Reason being is, see, it will check, as I said, by default if you add multiple properties is end, so it will checking whether ranking is 100 or status is enabled. So it did not find any template which has both these properties. So again you have to define or like we did here. But the thing is, we already used group in previous group, right, for the path. So can we use this again? Will it work? So now there's a 2 groups. One is this, right, or between these 2, and or between these 2. So can I use this? Answer is no. Reason being, if I use this, that means it will give me the wrong results. So now the concept comes of multiple groups. Even you can define different groups, right, rather than define one group. Okay, so let me show you. And the concept is same, right? You have to prefix. Whatever you're defining multiple, you have to define a prefix like 1, 2. So you will see here, for the first I define a group, one underscore group, and I apply OR for the first one underscore group. Now for the properties, I define another group, second underscore group, and now applying OR with this. So now what it will check? It will check the templates either from this path or this path. And then it will check the properties, means templates, which has the ranking is equal to 100 or the status in JCR content is equal to enabled. So now it should give all the templates. Now let's hit that. So it is giving the 6 because the two templates, either these properties are not fulfilled for 2, right? Initially we had 8. Okay, now let's change some property there, whatever we are searching, and see whether it able to search or not. Okay, even if you see that XPath generated query here itself, it generated 2 blocks, one for apps AEM geeks and con geeks AEM geeks, and there is an OR condition between two. Okay, so let's change a property. Let's change this geeks test and change this property. So geeks test and is the static one, and okay, let's change this property to 99. Save it. Now if we search this template should be removed from our search because this condition, this property will not fulfill. Okay, let's search this. So it's a 5 now, that has been removed. Same way, if you change the status of another one, means any of this property is not fulfilled or not true in query, so it will remove that. So that way you can add multiple groups as well. Now let's say you want the one more use case. Suppose you want to check the component used on what pages, right? So suppose you have a component, you want to check on how many pages that component is being used. For that, you can search that node. So if you go to any page, so you must understand how to create query, right? So if we go to any page, let's say I want to check the author component. Okay, so let's go to content, and this is the page. And when you drag and drop this component, it create a node, right? And the primary type of that node is NT unstructured. So you should understand, whatever you want to search, you should know the primary type of that. Okay, so the primary type is NT unstructured. So let's go here. Okay, let's say type is equal to NT unstructured, and I'm searching in the path of this R site, means AEM geek site. So if I hit that, okay, it will give all the nodes, right? All the components drag and drop, right? But I want to search a particular component. So how now you should check the properties, right? For that particular component. Okay, let's go here. Suppose now it give me all the components used on all the nodes where the component has been used. But I'm interested in particularly find a author component, right? Where this component is being used. This component. Okay, so you will understand. Let's go to that page again and see. So there is a property, you can search any property which identify the components. Okay, let's see, there is a property called sling resource type, and this will map to my component. Okay, it's a relative path. So let's add this property. Okay, I'm saying my property is equal to sling resource type, and the value is this. It's a relative. This is path to my component. Okay, it's a relative, so that's why I'm not adding /apps. And whatever property value is there, you should add this. So what this query will do, it will check the unstructured node under geek site where the resource type is equal to this component. Okay, so it will search all the nodes of this resource sling resource type is equal to this. So you will see there is only one. So this component is used only one page. Page means why I'm saying page. So you will understand, right? Till author, it's a page. If you see till here, it's a page, and then these things are node. So if this component is used twice on the same page, it will give you 2 here. Okay, let me drag and drop this. Let me add this component one more time. So I added this component twice. Now if I search this, run this query again, so there should be 2 nodes. Okay, let me search this, and you see there's twice. So one node is, this is what the previous, and this is the newly added. So now you can find where this component is being used. That way you can search. Now let's say one more use case. Suppose you want to find any file type. So any file are of file type, right? Let me show you. So any file, whatever you add, even this is a file, right? Author.html, you will see that type is equal to empty file. So let me search this file type. Okay, so what you can do, empty and then file, right? Let me remove everything. Okay, and let's search under, if you remove any path, so it will give all the files under repository. You will see a lot of, okay, it's slow because it's searching a lot of, and node has executed more than 100k, so that's why it did not search. Okay, let me add a path. Now it will search all the file under AEM Geeks. Okay, so it says 123 file has been found, but we are interested in a particular file. So how you can check, means how you can get a specific type of file, like specific extension. So for that, there is a predicate available node name, right? So you can use that node name, and let me show you how you can use that. Okay, this is node name, but how can I define? Let's say I want to search all the CSS files. So how I will define it? So now this regex comes into picture. I will say, okay, I need all, whatever the name is, and then CSS. So any file, name can be any file, but if extension is a .css, give me those files. Okay, let's search. So it gave 10. So we have 10 files, CSS files, and you'll see it will showing the path as well, author.css and all. Suppose now again I want to search CSS and jar file. Jar is also a file. If you see here, let's come and install. Okay, install, and there is a jar, AEM Geek jar. If you click on this, this is also of empty file type, but I want to search that jar. So what I'll do, I will define multiple node names. Again, so I added group as well. Why? I explain you, because I'm at top level. So if I add multiple node name, it will be and. I make it or. So what I'll do, it will check all the empty file, means type file, under apps AEM Geeks of type either CSS or jar. Okay, let me search. So now it's at 12. It is showing CSS as well as it is showing jar as well. See, so this way you can search files in repository using query builder. And right side, this is very important. You can search, or you can see how XPath query is being generated. Even straight away you can run this query as well. I'll show you later how you can run this XPath query, direct XPath query. Now let's say one more use case. Suppose you want to search pages based on tags, right? So either you can use as a property tag, right? Tag as a property, tag ID, but there is a predicate available called tag ID. You will be seeing here, we could simply use property is equal to this and property dot value is equal to this, but rather than I'm using a predicate called tag ID dot property. So it will go to the GCR content node, and then it will check for the CQ colon tags property, and then it will search for a tag called v hyphen under retail gender.man. I don't have tag on my site, so I'm using the v retail tag. Okay, let's search this. So it gave one result. Why? Because the path is AEM Geeks, and there's only one page which has this tag. If I remove this, then it will give all the pages from the repository which has this tag. Okay, let me remove this. Or rather than, one more thing, you can comment this as well, any line here. So rather than remove, you can just add hash. So now this line has been commented. So let's search. So it gives 125, means 125 pages has this tag, because now this query is applied on whole repository rather than our AEM Geek site. So now let me remove this comment and search again. So it gives you 1, because right now it is searching under AEM Geek site. Let's say one more use case. Suppose you want to search pages based on dates. Date means either created date or modified date. So to search dates, right, you have a predicate called date range. You can use that predicate. What if you don't know what is the predicate? Predicate is basically defined, out of box defined, which check for the condition whether this is available true or false. There is out of box predicate available. I'll give you the link of that page or documentation page. You can go back and check whatever I'm writing here. right? Left side before equal to sign, those are all our predicates. Okay, so let me add a date range predicate. So you will be seeing here I added a date range, and then I'm searching property, and property is a JCR last modified. So it will check the date of last modified, and lower bound and upper bound will define like range. What is the lower bound? What is the upper bound? Okay, let's search this. So it's saying this 6 pages are modified, between these two, right? Between these two dates. Okay, let me change the date. Let me change the lower bound, and now it's searching between 19 to 21, and the page has been, range has been increased. So the last modification date, now more pages are coming under this range. So that way you can define the dates based on, property which has dates. You can use date range predicate to search those. There are a lot of use case available. All use cases cannot be explained in a tutorial. So the intention here, you should understand how to create query rather than memorize the use cases. So if you have any question, or if you have any use case using query builder you are not able to resolve, just let me know and do comment. I will try to answer your query using comments. I hope you understood. If you have any question, please do comment. Thank you.